I'm Stacey Cashmore, committee member for the .NET Foundation elections this year, and I would like to introduce you to one of our candidates, Gabriel Emmanuel. Gabriel, good afternoon. Thanks so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. Maybe you could introduce yourself just a little bit.
All right. Good afternoon, Stacy. I'm so glad to meet you. Um, like you said, my name is Gabriel Emmanuel. I'm a software engineer from Nigeria, Lagos State, Nigeria. I've been a software engineer for approximately 2 years now, where I've been working with .NET technologies. Prior to that, I delved into the tech space by learning a little bit about HTML, CSS, and the likes. And I was particularly interested with .NET, but the fact that in Nigeria, we're just growing up as a community. So more or less, most persons who want to come into the tech space would be advised to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But then I met my mentor, Vincent, who is very interesting and open individual. He guided me into the .NET space, and ever since it's been a very, very interesting journey. The past 2 years has been very um, interesting for me, and so much so that I particularly felt I needed to give back, and that brought about me mentoring some other folks that I met who are quite interested in learning about .NET, and also created a book study with a friend. Her name is Ellen. We started a .NET book study where we talk about basic .NET stuff on YouTube weekly, and it's been interesting.
It sounds like you've had quite a busy 2 years. It's going from learning to mentoring and coaching other people in that time sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you would hope to accomplish if you are elected to the .NET Foundation board.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the website. I noticed there are quite a number of communities. Two of those communities quite struck me: the outreach community and the education community. Right, the outreach community, because I tried to reach out to individuals who would like to, learn .NET, who are coming into the .NET space. I try to reach out to them, find out what they might need to get settled as fast as possible, and all of that. And then education community, being that I host this book study, I find it easier for me to reach out to persons and try to talk to them about what they're going through, especially because when I started learning .NET, I felt it was an Herculean task that I needed to up through, right? So being that I found it easier by speaking to my mentor, I felt okay. Other persons might be, interested in getting a mentor and learning about this. So the education community is quite another space where I think I would love to pull my weight, educating persons about the opportunities that are available with the .NET um, ecosystem, the technologies that are available, and with the way the .NET ecosystem is going, it's quite interesting what's available to us. Using just one ecosystem, you could do just about anything um, that's that you want to do, right? Say backend, say front end, say with Maui coming up, you could even create mobile apps and the desktop apps and just about anything from learning one simple language. And it's quite awe inspiring what is available out there. And then I really want to help others, especially. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but
This is fine.
especially,
No, this is absolutely fantastic.
yeah, in Africa, I stay in Lagos, Nigeria, in Africa, where most persons are not particularly sure where to go, or they do not know what is available, right? So the .NET ecosystem or the .NET Foundation needs a lot of awareness, especially in Nigeria and Africa, and I intend to bring that home. Let people know what is available out there, what the .NET Foundation can do for them, and how it could help broaden, the horizon.
Yeah, I think that's so important, making sure that you have the community building in place, and as you say, the education, so that somebody getting started has a good place, a good source of resources in order to make that strong beginning. Like I say, you can do almost anything in .NET. It is such a
Almost
versatile
anything.
framework, and yeah, it letting people know what's out there and helping them. That sounds fantastic. Um, in order to achieve this, maybe you could tell us a little bit about, what experience do you think you can bring to the foundation board to support those goals that you've just discussed?
All right. Yeah. So my experience isn't that much, like you already know, just about 1, 2 years of experience in development, and probably less in education and outreach. But prior to my sprints in the development world, I was a teacher, so to speak, right? So I guess that's why the education space is quite, appealing to me, right? So I taught basic coding and robotics in Lekki province of Lagos State, where we used Blockly and some other basic technology to reach out to kids and help them see that STEM is the way to go, STEM is the future, and all of that, right? So in my 1 or 2 years teaching, I also worked with one of those airline manufacturers who come to Nigeria to do boot camps, right? So what that does is it kind of imprints in the mind of those young ones that even from a young age, you could dream about being this or being that or being okay. I'll give a simple example, right? So one of those boot camps where was themed going to space, right? So being an airline manufacturer, you think that, oh, kids are not very interested in going to space and stuff like that, right? But if you bring boot camps to them where they play around with robotics, building rockets, then that's what they will be thinking about, and they will be planning towards doing stuff like that, right? So if we reach out to young ones like that using technologies in .NET to teach them stuff that are appealing to them, then they would dream about doing that. And one day they will become .NET developers, .NET engineers, and they would very much want to be in the .NET ecosystem.
Awesome. So it's I if I can paraphrase slightly for you there, so it's you want to use your experience as a teacher with what you've seen in how you can inspire the younger generation to get started, and yeah, it show them that the small bits that you can do with .NET to get them started, so that they can go on and change the world in the future.
Definitely.
Okay. Uh, well, I would like to thank you for your time today. I've been really interesting listening to it. I'd like to wish you a lot of luck in the elections, and
Thank
yeah,
you
wish
very
you a
much.
good afternoon and a good weekend.
Thank you very much, Stacy, and wish you a good weekend as well.